Hello and welcome back to my channel, Thrifty Day. On today's episode, I'm going to upcycle some of these vintage patterns into a lovely journal layout. Some of them were in pretty rough shape, so I felt like it was good to go ahead and use them and put them into my journal so that I could always remember them. I also have some of these little vintage hanky scraps that I want to use because they're just too pretty to throw away. So the first thing I'm going to do is decide which ones I want to use. I'm going to take all the insides out and put them into little baggies and snap a picture of the front because I do have some friends who like to sew, so I'm going to see if they want to use them. I, on the other hand, I am not an expert sewer, so I am just going to use the insides of just one to put onto the backdrop of my journal layout. I absolutely love the color and the natural aging on this, so it was perfect to use as the background for this layout. The paper was extremely brittle, so it was very easy to just trim down to fit, so I just used my ruler to do that. I'm not sure if you can hear my dog, Ellie. She's laying next to me as I do this voiceover, and she's breathing so loud, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. So once I trim this down to the right size, both of them, because I'm going to have them on both sides of the layout, I'm just going to use my glue stick. And you don't need a lot because if you use the pattern, it's very thin. So I'm just going to trim it down super easy. Most of it I could just do with my hands. I use the ruler for the rest. And then I get my glue stick and I put it onto the back side of each pieces. And I just put them directly onto the layout. It goes on very easy. I do get my scraper to make sure it's evenly distributed, the glue, and I find that that's a very useful tool when putting on large pieces of paper down onto a journal layout. So I'm going to put that Tim Holtz clip right back up on the top just to keep it flat so I could journal a little bit easier. And I'm going to use the glue stick for the other side now and lay it on there so that it fits perfectly. I'm loving the way this looks. It's already so vintage and it just makes my little vintage loving heart so happy. So now that they're both on nice and secure, I'm going to add a little extra glue to the corner of that one. As you can see, the center, there's a little bit of white showing and I don't want them to lift, so I'm going to get my favorite thick washi tape and I'm just going to stick it right down the center. I love, love, love this washi tape. I actually have 2 big rolls of it and I use it a lot because I just love the colors, especially for what I'm doing today. I think it has a 70s kind of retro-y vibe. And that's what a lot of the pattern photos or images had as well. So it seemed appropriate to use, even though I use it a lot. So now I'm just sort of continuing to deconstruct the patterns so I can use the covers of the ones that kind of catch my eye. And there's so many cute ones. I think the images and the graphics were just so fabulous in the 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s. So this was one of my favorite ones. I knew I wanted to use it. Right when I saw it, it was kind of falling apart on the side, so it was the perfect choice. And so this is what I did. It doesn't need to be perfect. You're gonna trim and cut out these images as closely as possible, or as closely to your liking. You don't need to do it as close as I did. Now it looks like I did it really perfect because I don't think I can capture in detail how not perfect my cutting was, but I did my best. And once they're all cut out, you'll see I cut out a whole bunch of them. I'm gonna start trying to make like a collage on the bottom of this full layout. However, the first thing I'm gonna do is add some of these really sweet little handkerchief copies. They were just pages I had used in journals, but I could never get rid of them because they're so pretty. So I always save those strips, and I thought it would be nice to put on the end there because I think that that little vintagey fabric complements the theme and the layout. So now all I'm gonna do is arrange all of these images so that it looks cohesive but collagey. I don't even know if that makes sense to you, but it kind of does to me. I want them to look like they belong, but not really. So I'm truly, because I just can't decide where everything's gonna go, I just decide to start sticking down and hope I do it right. And in the end, I'm very happy with how it looks. So sometimes, that's a good tip, I guess. Sometimes don't overthink it. Initially, I wanted to lay everything out and kind of make sure that it was all going to look okay when I was done, but that takes a long time, and it kind of can take the joy out of it if you're thinking it's not going to turn out right or not going to look the way you want it to look in the end. So I just decided to go all in and just start gluing things down and trust that my creative process would leave me with the end result that I would be happy with. These particular patterns were very old and very brittle. Many were falling apart, and so they were kind of difficult to work with. So I do use my scraper a lot to kind of gently make sure that it's all down, all the paper is down onto the layout well, but they were very brittle, and I did find it a little bit difficult to work with, but I think ultimately it was worth the care I took into putting them down, because I really, really, really was so happy with the end result. Oh, see, you could see there, it kind of almost ripped. But then even if it does rip, you can just glue it down so that it doesn't appear ripped. So very simple. So I'm just going to show you the process of me continuing to glue all these down and layer them on top of each other. If you would be so kind as to hit that like button, it would mean so much to me. I've been working really hard to kind of grow my YouTube, so every comment and like really helps boost the algorithm for me, and that way my video and my uploads will find its way into lots of different crafters' pages, and that way it can get some more eyeballs on it, and that helps me as a creator. So thank you so much. I'd appreciate it if you would like and comment, and of course please subscribe to my channel. I'm getting close to being done with this first half here. It was definitely time consuming, a little more time consuming than I thought it would be, but like I said, I'm super happy with the end result. These were all very 70s patterns. That's definitely one of my favorite eras stylistically. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite? I know everyone really loves the 50s, and the 60s were, of course, iconic. But let me know what your favorite era is and what kind of style or color theme or patterns really pull your eye. I know that for me, those 70s patterns are very inspiring and really pull my eye. And I don't know if it's because I was a young child in the 70s. So for me, it's very nostalgic, it's very homey, it's very comforting to see those patterns. Perhaps that's why I'm so drawn to it now as an adult. But let me know what you think. I would love to hear what patterns and what styles kind of inspire you. So now I'm just continuing the process on the other side. Some layouts are more tedious and time-consuming than others, but I actually find that kind of therapeutic. So this was a really, really satisfying page to make, from the cutting of the images to the collaging of the images, and all the way to the finished product. I really thoroughly enjoyed this layout. I think it's because creatively you get more filled by certain aspects of creating, and I just really truly loved this one. So I hope you guys are all loving it too, just watching me kind of cut and paste. It's very elementary school 101, but I hope this is something that you enjoy too. Let me know in the comments below what sort of layouts are your favorite. I love hearing your feedback, so I'd love to know if you are more interested in writing pages, creative pages, more arts and craft, or thematic pages. I find some of my favorite pages to create are the ones that are really just my daily junk or ephemera, if I wanted to sound a little more fancy. I love keeping the little things from day to day and turning them into layouts. To me, that's so creatively satisfying to know that something that I probably in the past would have thrown away, I now upcycle and use creatively, and it's something that I can look back on and enjoy. So let me know in the comments what kind of pages are your favorite. I know we all do Christmas things, and some are more creative than others, or we do holiday things or Halloween things or family get-togethers or birthdays, but let me know which ones are your favorite, and I'd just love to hear. It's hard to tell because my camera went a little bit out of frame when I was doing this, but I just trimmed the bottom because some of them were kind of hanging off the end, so I just, with my scissors, just trimmed the bottom, and then the collage was all done. So I did think it was appropriate to also add a tab of some of my favorite little vintagey fabric. So I just trimmed a little strip off and I used my stapler and just put it right on the end there. And then when I was making ephemera kits earlier this week, I came across this really cute little thread flashcard. So I just decided to staple it right to the top of the page. It also seemed very appropriate since these were vintage patterns. And I also had these little scraps that I just can never throw anything away. They're so bright and pretty. So I just used my glue stick and I stuck them down right onto the page. And I think it adds a sweet little pop of color up there under the flashcard. And now I'm so close to being done. This was a really simple layout, which leads me to my next little part in the layout. Some of these patterns are with the Simplicity brand, and since I kind of felt like that's what this page was, it was about simplicity, I just trimmed the top off of one of those envelopes and I used my glue stick to sort of glue it to the very top, and I think it's kind of double meaning. It is Simplicity patterns that I used, but it's also about simplicity and just using what you have and being creative with what's in front of you. So you know, for me, no layout is complete without those little word stickers by Tim Holtz. So I grab my stickers and I pick a few that I think will complement the page and I just stick them around. I like the way it looks and I think that it's a sweet way to add a finishing touch to any layout. So those, once again, are from Tim Holtz. I did my journaling off camera, so now that's all complete. And then the very last finishing touch were these adorable little tickets I got from Your Creative Studio. They are so vintage and so cute, and I've been dying to use them. So I picked this one that's a bright kind of limey green, and I use my little date stamp, and I put the date on there, and then I just use my glue stick and stick it right to the top of the page. I think it was the perfect little finishing touch, and I got them from Your Creative Studio. So here's a look at my complete layout. I'm so happy with how it came out. I'm so grateful to my friend Diane for gifting me all these beautiful vintagey patterns. They were so fun to create with. They really filled my heart with happiness. And every time I open this page, not only will I think of my good friend Diane, but it will put a big smile on my face because the style is just top-notch. So thank you so much for following along. I hope you were inspired by this video. I hope that you have fun and creative ways to use your vintage patterns, and I hope to see you in my next video as well. So thanks so much for following along and have a really great day, everyone. Bye.